In today's latest news, we've learnt the full extent of Nkunku's injury, as Nkunku is set to miss the next 4 months out with injury. Wow. To move on though, we discuss updates around Neymar, Deivid Washington, squad numbers have been revealed for the new season, and we discuss interesting reports surrounding Spanish wonderkid and Ivan Fresneda. Stay tuned today for my massive predicted lineup video for the season coming out a few hours after this video. I hope you guys definitely enjoy it, put a little work into that one, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video too. So without wasting any more time, let's start things off by discussing the awful news surrounding Kuku. He is set to miss the next 16 weeks out, so that's 4 months out with this meniscus injury which he sustained on his left knee. Now, he's already had keyhole surgery, the club revealed this in their statement this morning, and he is starting his rehabilitation to get back in time. But if you're Nkunku, this is awful news because similar things happened to you last season at Leipzig, where you started last season off injured and now you're repeating the same thing, especially after he had a very successful and very promising pre-season. It's a shame that we won't see that growing partnership between him and Nicholas Jackson for at least another 4 months. Now, a meniscus injury is essentially just cartilage damage to his left knee. There were hopes that when he sustained this injury against Dortmund that it wouldn't be like a severe tear and he might only be out for a few weeks. But obviously after scans were done, it's quite obvious that this injury was a lot more serious than first thought. And after Pochettino and many of the squad stated that this is a title challenging season, which took all of us by surprise. Nkunku for me was like the most important part of this team if we have hopes to compete for the league. So right now, what does the club do? Do we give more opportunities now to guys like Chukwuemeka? We can't forget that we paid big money to sign one of the best young talents in the league. With the position open up in the field now, this could be the moment for Chukwuemeka to shine. And let's not act like age is something that should be used against him, because Mason Mount made his debut for us at 19 years old. He had a good first season, and if Chukwuemeka had the same amount of game time as a Mason Mount, would he not benefit from that a lot more? Because this guy was also really good in pre-season, and he complements what Pochettino wants. We know we have options too, and maybe like Ian Maatsen. Pochettino sees him more as like a final third player, but realistically, knowing how this club operates, I would not be surprised that now we go back into the market to sign an additional attacking player. We're already trying to sign Michael Olise, but he is someone we're signing to be out competition from your cities and coast to make sure that we have him playing for us, and most likely he'll compete on the right hand side alongside Madueke. So for me, there are some options available that could be quite interesting. I think we say no though to guys like Joao Felix, and it's a shame that this guy's off the ball work rate isn't up to the standards of guys like Pochettino that he wants, because I think he would have been a great addition to keep here, because I felt like he had a lot more to show last season, but that won't happen. Could this push us into signing someone like a Vlahovic? Reports came out today saying that Egbali isn't too keen on bringing Vlahovic to the club. So for me, there is only one player on this market right now I feel would be like the best replacement for Nkunku that also complements the squad very well, and that is none other than Mohammed Kudus. Now currently, Kudus hasn't finalised personal agreements with Brighton, and you'd imagine him and his team, they know that they had interest from us and from Arsenal, and Kudus is playing Champions League football. He wants to maintain that level of standard that he set for himself, and of course Brighton are very ambitious, but to move to Brighton, that would be very hard then to play for one of the big clubs in the future, because Brighton will ask for crazy amounts of money, and you just never know if the opportunity might open up again. So it makes sense that him and his team have been waiting patiently behind the scenes to see what comes out. And now that this Nkunku news is public, could we now make another move to sign Kudus, knowing that we have agreed personal terms with the player already, and now that it has been revealed that it would cost 34.5 million to sign him? I feel like we could wrap this deal up quite quickly and still sign a Michael Olise. Now I say Kudus because, like Nkunku, they're literally the same profile of player. I mean, we know that this guy's played false nine, bagging a lot of goals for Ajax last season. He can play that 10 role, he can play on the right, he can play on the left, he can play in midfield. And you know, this role that Pochettino was using Nkunku for is very important, because you're playing like a /8/10 role, and it requires you to have to be an option between the lines, a guy that's making runs in behind, a guy that's an option for the midfield to pass to. It's a very evolving and changing role, and you need to have strong ability playing across multiple positions to really make that position come to life. And for me, Kudus suits this to a T. He has maybe one thing ahead of Nkunku, and that's that he's a stronger dribbler, in my opinion. But the guy can play those passes in behind. He's improved so much in his finishing and his shooting, a powerful left foot. And I just think that now that the player has naturally been stalling before he's accepted this offer from Brighton, we could afford to come in now, secure him up, and still get Moises Caicedo. Again, if the plan is to go for the title this season, he is one of the few players on the market that comes for an affordable fee that already suits and complements what we want. So let's see how the story plays out right now, my friends. But again, very sorry for Nkunku. This is not how he wanted to start this new season. It's not fair. And there has to be discussions around playing on these awful pitches. Because my thing is, it wasn't like it was announced that Ed Sheeran was playing his concert a week before that friendly against Dortmund. That was no knowledge for a long time. So you were playing in a hot stadium. You can't even wet the pitch enough to really make it soft. And then you're playing on a pitch that's already damaged. Like I don't get why clubs put themselves in these positions. And it's the second time you've missed out on a key player at the wrong time due to a friendly in the States. So that's all I'm saying on that matter. I don't think it means never go to the United States. That's silly. But what I'm saying is that when it was announced that Ed Sheeran had a concert beforehand, maybe just cut short your US tour by 1 week. That's all I'm saying. So my friends, we now move on to squad number announcements for the new season, and lots of interesting numbers have been picked up by players. To start with the notable ones, as you guys are seeing on screen, Levi Colwill is taking the fabled number 26 shirt, once worn by John Terry. And for me, if there was like any player recently since John Terry that could live up to that mantle, to be like someone, a challenger for that number, this guy, if he continues in this trajectory that he's going down, he could be absolutely clear, because he has a physicality advantage that Terry didn't have. And of course, Terry was one of the smartest defenders where his positional strength was so strong that it negated his lack of pace because he didn't really need that. Cole has that, and he's very fast and he's taller. I mean, I don't know. I think special things can come in the future. Let's hope things play out in his favor. Enzo Fernandez gets the number 8 shirt, and for me, I was very happy by this. I've liked the fact that during pre-season, Pochettino has been allowing Enzo to advance up the field a bit more. Now, we saw what this guy was doing in the World Cup for Argentina when he had that type of license to be part of the attack. We need him to have those same qualities here, and for me, it's like a symbolic thing of Enzo. You won't be playing this release role or this deep line role anymore, and for me, I'm here for that, man, because we spent over 100 million to secure him. Mudryk is wearing the number 10 shirt. I like that as well too. He's a lot more confident. I think he has a lot more ambition, and I think he's just a lot happier now during this preseason. And I think this guy will be one of the ones to watch out for next season actually. So really excited by this. Nico Jackson, he is set to emulate Didier Drogba. He's rejected the number 9 shirt. He's set to wear the number 15 shirt, and to be fair with you, I think that's very fitting. Now, in my opinion, I think this whole number 9 curse is a bit far-fetched. I think we have a curse in these regards because it's terrible transfer planning from the guys above. That's not the players' fault. But obviously, Didier Drogba has had such a massive impact for us. You know, he's made a lot of players fall in love with us due to all his exploits with us over the years. And it's nice to know that Jackson is paying homage to legends like Didier Drogba, because Jackson can make his own legacy at this football club. And obviously numbers like the number 25 kit being free, and there's currently a player we're trying to sign who also wears that, and that is Moises Caicedo, so I'll be freeing his number up for him before he signs. You like to think so. And interestingly, it has been revealed now that Caicedo and his agent were spotted in London late last night. Surely we are getting this deal done before Liverpool, no? That has to be the case. But anyway, you guys, go to the club's website to see all the latest numbers. Noddy's going to wear number 11. Sterling is set to wear number 7, etc, etc. But now, let's move on to other stories today. And we discuss a very weird report coming out from Spain. It involves Real Valladolid's young right-back wonderkid in Ivan Fresneda. And currently, they claim that we are showing late interest to compete alongside Barcelona and Real Madrid to sign the right back. Now, if you guys bang out FM23, you'll know that Fresneda becomes one of the best right backs in the entire game. I have to stop referencing FM, I know, but obviously that game, I've been a fan for years, right? But regardless, Barca is still currently the favourites, and even though Fresneda is more keen on moving to Barca, he's a little bit doubtful based on the fact that Barca are also hoping to sign an experienced right back as well, which means that your game time is getting cut. Now, Barca have made an offer of 10 plus 5 million euros, which is believed to be enough to get this deal wrapped up and over the line. And when you think you can sign this wonder kid for like £12 million, I can understand why the club would show late interest to try and sign him. The reports state that we feel like Fresneda could be an important player for the future, and with this affordable price, I mean, I understand it, but I know what we're all thinking, bro. We got Reece James, who just signed Gusto. Like, what the hell are we doing? It's not making any sense. Now, I thought the same thing too when we made like maybe small attempts to try and sign Livramento, but he rejected the idea of coming back to us. But here's how I see it playing out basically. Now, my first thoughts are this is silly news, but I'm going to see things from the club's perspective. And remember, the clubs just don't think about this season. They think about multiple seasons. But let's start with reality. Number one, would it surprise me if clubs are just using our name now to try and push Barca and Madrid to get in a bidding war to raise the price up? That would not surprise me whatsoever. It happens all the time, and that's probably the most realistic thing that's happening. However, on the other hand, you're looking at Reece James. Now, I still think it's very unlikely that Reece would ever sign for Real Madrid. Even outside of that, I think maybe a stronger possibility could be the fact that what if the club sees Reece James' future back in midfield. Now, I've always felt like Reece is like one of those Philipp Lahm style of fullbacks where he is good enough to play in midfield. He could make that position himself, and if the club feel like we just need to have explosive pace in the wide areas, Reece James' reading of the game, technique, ability on the ball, passing range, etc. In the future, would it surprise me if I ever saw Reece James playing in that position? I don't think it would. We've seen throughout our recent dealings, like we're hoping to splash all this like 1 billion investment in the team that Roman wanted assurances for, like in the next 2 years. We're close to spending $1 billion right now since the new owners have come in. And of course, if you're signing Fresneda, you're signing him to loan him out and to get him ready in the future, because he's only like 18, 19 years old. But I think it raises a very interesting question, and I want to get your guys' opinions on this, obviously. We're being known for hoarding talent. And of course, there are some ethical discussions to have with this. Obviously, with clubs of our size and magnitude, we have so much money that we can afford to buy multiple players, have incredibly high wage bills for the year. And it's starting to look like big clubs are becoming more like conglomerates at this point in time. If you can afford to hedge your bets across multiple high potential players, if one of these guys comes through, that makes the whole business model worth it. Even though you've affected the potential now of multiple young players that could have stronger careers because they have more control on how their careers can actually go. Maybe I should create like a video just discussing this whole topic, because I guess there's a lot of things to discuss, but I want to get some of you guys' impressions and opinions on this, so please comment below. And now we end things with 2 updates. We start with Neymar, and as it has been revealed this morning, Pochettino has final say on whether we make a move from Neymar. And it does seem like Pochettino isn't too keen on working with him. Now, when he rejected the opportunity to work with Joao Felix again, obviously that kind of told me that Pochettino wants to create a strong unit, a strong pack. Now, he would have had a bit of nightmares at Paris Saint-Germain based on the fact that he had to adapt his principles to accommodate the incredible world-class talent in your Mbappe, Neymars and your Messi's, but that came at a detriment to the rest of the team because they had to accommodate their lack of defensive ability. If Pochettino doesn't have to do that again, why would he? And even though Neymar would be absolutely clear if he signed for us, I just appreciate the fact that we want to get the manager's validation first. That's the most important thing. Like, I don't want to force nothing on a manager that doesn't want a player. So I'm okay with this and I accept it. And to end things, we have confirmation that we have won the race to sign Deivid Washington from Santos. Now, as we knew, Monaco had up to 48 hours to respond to match the offer. They never did that. And right now, Washington and his family are getting ready to travel to London to secure a deal and get things finalized. Now, Santos' president has confirmed this news, and today he said that it is well underway. I'd just like to talk about a player the moment he signs a contract, but I would say he is well on his way, of course, to signing for us. So this is a nice story. Obviously, Washington will be loaned straight out to Strasbourg. Watching him and Angelo together, I think we're going to start watching a bit more Liga next season. And who knows, maybe even next season if I'm in France. I might try and catch the game in Strasbourg to see how our guys are doing. But this guy's talent potential he's one to watch out for. Maybe by the time he's like 20, 21, like he could be fully ready then to come back here and really fight for this first team spot. And with the uniqueness about his game, listen, players like this who play the game like that, I'm always going to love and I'm always going to be here for. So my friends, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. I am Nini FC. This is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later for some more videos.